Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? While the party is sleeping. Last time on the Final Fantasy Let's Play. So we just barely went through the Citadel of Trials. We've liberated 2 crystals, but we went to the Citadel of Trials to get a rat's tail. Doesn't really seem like the greatest of rewards, does it? Yeah, that never really fixes between NES and PlayStation. Not really sure what Square was thinking. But it is actually an important reward. The reason being, and you'll find out soon, is that the next 2 crystals are actually a great deal harder to take care of and liberate. So we are going to need a little extra power on our side, and that's not just grinding. That's everything. We technically are not powerful in our present state. To those who have played Final Fantasy, keep quiet. I want the new people to figure it out. Yes, I know there's only 2 of you. Twitch to the 2 of you. Welcome! We're very happy to have you. But in the meantime, we have to deal with this very long walk back to the airship. Oh yeah, that's right, we got an airship too. Yay! Airships are always fun in Final Fantasy games because you know that everything becomes available to you. You can fly wherever you want. And especially in like the earlier Final Fantasy games, maybe there was an item shop that was the only one that ever sold that item. Now you can access it whenever you want. Oh yeah, and no random encounters. Ultimate Plus. Especially given how many random encounters I've run into just trying to make our way back to the airship. But we are almost there, and there it is. Let's get in. So, with the rat's tail, it's actually not very important for us, but we've got to go make a trip to the Dragon's Cave, where we get to go meet yet another Final Fantasy staple. You'll find out who it is when we get there. To new fans of the Final Fantasy franchise, there are a lot of staples. There are a lot of tropes that are in here, but only a few of them have ever shown up in, like, all the games. I can only think of one right off the top of my head. A couple of them have had an outing or 2 where they weren't there. For example, the name Cid. Cid is always in a Final Fantasy game, and I'm talking the Roman numerals. Not always in all the sub-content, but all the Roman numerals. In this case, if you don't know what Roman numeral is, it is the staple games. So Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, Mystic Quest wouldn't count because it is not a Roman numeral. But that's the way that they differentiate. Cid is like the only one right off the top of my head that counts. Because aside from this game, I think there's actually a Cid reference in this game. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, Cid appears the most in the series, so yeah, and here we go. Believe it or not, these holes don't look like caves, I know. But they actually are the Dragon's Cave. And there's multiple openings, so you actually could go through kind of a maze to figure out where you're going. I actually have to kind of sit here and look at a map and go, okay, where does this one put me? Where does this hole put me? And I think I actually am not in the right place in this one. Some of them will give you chests, one of them will give you your objective. And the chests aren't all that great. And of course, random encounter right as I walk out of the dang hole. That's just appropriate, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to try this one. And this is the one. So this is where we need to go meet the King of the Dragons. Final Fantasy fans, shut up. We're in the Dragon's Cave, so obviously we would need to meet with their leader. And here we go. We get to meet with... It has been eons since true heroes have approached me. Well done. That rat's tail is proof of your valor and strength. Now, warriors, step forward to accept titles more worthy of heroes. I actually thought he might say it, but this is supposed to be another staple of the Final Fantasy franchise, the Dragon King Bahamut. Or Bahamut. I don't care either way. And so what he does with the Rat's Tail is, we have proven our valor and have earned titles more worthy of being the heroes of the light. So what this is it's a class change. So we get upgraded. So the warrior is now the knight. The monk is now the master. The white mage and the black mage are now the black and white wizard. And if you had the other classes, so like the thief becomes the ninja, and the red mage becomes the red wizard. I like this class makeup, so this is what we're going to go with. And with that actually also comes a whole other new slew of spells that we can buy. You kind of saw we had the problem in Melmond. That problem is now fixed, especially in the fact that in this game, the knight is more like what a lot of RPG players would call the paladin. He gets some healing magic, minor healing magic, but he gets some. So that's a great plus in the fact that I don't have to use up all of Yuna's charges to heal up the party if I don't want to. But as you can see, my charges aren't really hurting all that much. And also we do get the new sprite changes, which in my opinion are some of the best. I especially love the Black Wizard in this game because I think by this time Final Fantasy IX had come out and they had done a redo of the way the Black Mage would look in 3D. And it actually, strangely enough, that's who I named the Black Wizard after, was the character Vivi. They did a retelling of how he would look, and now in Final Fantasy, the remake one, he looks kind of like the 9 version. I always loved that. You guys will be able to hear this when we actually get to Final Fantasy IX, but I love that game. I think it's such a great telling of what came before that I can't speak well enough about it. But in the meantime, I digress. So now we're off to our next objective now that we have our new classes. And I've also done some grinding off-screen. So the next crystal that we're going to actually go after is the Crystal of Water, but we need a few things after that. I actually don't show it in Gaia, but there's a fairy missing from the lake. Well, we just found where that fairy is. So now we're going to go buy her for an absurd amount, might I add. And bring her back to Gaia, because she'll be able to provide me with an item that will let me get to where the water crystal is. I won't spoil that until we actually get the item, but it'll make sense. And more random encounters. Why the random encounters? Where's Rachel? Where are we going? I don't know. I love the Bad Dad. It's awesome. Okay, so now we're back in Gaia, and we're gonna go drop off this bottled fairy. This poor fairy that got captured by a caravan that was like a continent away, and we don't know how it got there. I don't even think the Nintendo game explains how the fairy got there either. We're just supposed to find it. Because video game logic. And of course the lake is just off in the middle of nowhere in the town. You have to kind of figure it out on your own if you don't have a guide. And here's this little lake. Okay, well, I guess this is where we drop off the ferry and part ways. If you say hey or listen, you're gonna be fired. Was trapped inside the bottle you bought. How horrifying that was. To repay your kindness, I will retrieve some Oxyale from the spring for you. Yeah, that's my fairy voice. Get over it. Okay, so now she gives us another key item, which is Oxyale. This would basically be... I'm trying to think of a current reference. From that water flows an endless supply of air. There you go. So that kind of explains it. So... for a newcomer to gaming, a lot of people haven't seen Harry Potter, so I hope this is kind of a good reference. But if you saw the 4th movie and the whole concept of gillyweed, that's kind of what the Oxyale is. It allows us to breathe underwater. Which, strangely enough, you would think that the water crystal would be underwater. And you would be right. But in the meantime, we actually have to make our way to the town of Onlak, which will actually lead us to where we need to go. And can I just make a quick comment about some of the mature sprites? The Master, oh my gosh. If they made it look like he shaved his head, I'd have no problem, but they kind of make it look like he's got this James Bond comb back. And, oh man, it doesn't work. Maybe if we could actually tell, like, there was a ponytail behind, maybe, but, you know, as a monk, I actually think monks look better when they're just, you know, like Shaolin monk, just straight bald. Shaven head. Oh, and there you go. I got my answer, because he's got a little ponytail wagging in the back. Alright. I guess I'll get off the Master's back. It's funny what you then realize when you're recording this, because this is all done post-commentary, guys, sorry. But it's funny what you don't realize when you're playing the game. This is why I did it this way. This is why I did it post-commentary, because then I can enjoy some of the things with you. And right now I'm just checking for magic. Right now I think the only thing that will be worthwhile to me later will be heal 3, but I don't even think I go for it, because it's level 7 and 8, which is end game spells, and there's a lot of powerful ones, especially for a white wizard and white mage. Now I should also point out that I did go back to other towns, because a couple of spells were restricted to us. One of which was the Warp 2 spell for a white wizard in Melmond. This is the game's exit spell. This allows me to leave a dungeon prematurely if I need to. I also went back to, I think it was the Elfheim that had Warp 1. Warriors with Oxiel, we have been waiting for you. Please save the mermaids. No, we're not going to Disney reference. Alright, so we ride the barrel. It's supposed to be a submarine, but, you know, we're riding barrels. And so now we are making our way down to the Sunken Shrine, where the water crystal resides. And what I was saying before also, I think I went back to Elfheim, I think that's where it is. And I also got our Black Wizard Warp 1. What Warp 1 does is that it allows you to go to the previous floor, which in big maze dungeons, really helpful. Because if I have to do some backtracking, I might as well do it that way. Speaking of backtracking, from here on in, the Crystal Shrines will have some level of backtracking. Because now we're actually coming across dungeons that have items that I'm going to want. Which will be very important, very helpful for me. As well as you guys, because then we get a quicker LP out of it. Right now I'm just kind of figuring, okay, where do I go? This is one of those weird dungeons because we actually do need to go to the basement first here, and then make our way to the crystal. I call it the basement, but it's not really. It's a maze dungeon. But yeah, we're making our way to some treasure first before we start making our way to the water crystal. This will be very helpful for us because there actually is some items here that would benefit, I think, not just Bart's, but Yuna and Vivi as well. Alright, and more walking. I think this is one of them. Nope. Literally one step and another attack. I wish I could say this gets better in other games, but it doesn't really. It's all random. We're making progress regardless. We're not exactly having to fight off any enemies thus far. And I don't think for the Sunken Shrine we have to. More sea snakes. As you guys can see, it's all water or ice-based enemies. And now we have the Mage's Staff, so we're going to check with Vivi really quick to see if it's an upgrade. And it is! A little bit. It's got an accuracy downer, but, I mean, from here on in, Vivi's not really going to be doing a whole lot of close-range combat. He's going to be casting. The only thing that's kind of frustrating at this point is... No, I think I have... Yeah, I think I have all the 3 spells, but I don't have his end spell yet. I don't have Flare, and it's just because it's expensive. Flare is just kind of the ultimate single-target nuke, and I think it's actually non-elemental damage in this game. In later games it is. I'm not sure about earlier games where I think it might be actually fire damage. In fact, one of my favorite of the Final Fantasy games, number 4, actually in the American translation has it as Nuke. Literally. The spell's named Nuke. Alright, and we got some diamond armor for Bart, so that'll be helpful for him. It's not like he really needs it. I mean, every time he gets hit, it's like 2 HP. But that's because everybody's hitting him physically. Wait till the end of the game when we have some, like, rare spells and things like that. They hurt. And that's one of those times where I'm going to thank my stars that he has the armor he does, because he can resist a lot of that damage. Oh wow, ghosts. They must be sunken spirits! Does that make sense, right? Nope, couldn't run. So I'll try and take him out. This actually might be a good example just to show the empowered classes and the fact that they are now doing a lot of damage. Specifically, you know, when we started this up, our monk wasn't really doing a whole lot of damage, and it was Bart that was hitting really hard physically. As of right now, that has changed. The main reason is I don't think we've seen his equipment, but he doesn't have weapons anymore. When you hit the master, it's better to keep your master unarmed. And I think in the NES version, you could do the same thing with the monk or the black belt in there, and it's the same concept. But if they're unarmed, they do a ton of damage. And so from here on in, that's actually going to change, is that Yang is going to be doing a ton more damage, and Bart's is just going to be kind of there to be the meat shield. How appropriate. I have the tank, I have the healer, and I have 2 DPS. One more, and I can call it a WoW party. A whole 9 enemies. Please let me run. I really don't want to have to take them on. Not because I'm worried about survival, but just because I know it will take a lot of time. Oh well. Well, it's nice knowing you guys. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. Bolt 3. Bye-bye. I more like the later games where you can actually press L and R to run, and you have somewhat of a chance. In these games, you have to hit flee, and then you have to take your chances. And... Yay! At least we're kind of lucky. I think we're actually done on this floor, so... Yep, because there's a staircase. And this is the last floor that we need to worry about before water crystal time. So we got 1760 gil, diamond armlet, and I think this would be an upgrade. Nope. There we go. So we're probably going to send that over to Vivi. Yep, because it's a full 10 points of defense, and he's probably the weakest of the 4 right now. that's the way it is, you know. Casters are kind of squishy. It's really kind of sad, because now that I've brought up the WoW party, now I had to watch BlizzCon to cover the news there, and I've had WoW on the brain for the last couple of days, and main reason is that I'm not sure what I think about the new expansion that just got announced. To WoW fans that don't know, the next expansion is called Warlords of Draenor. It's basically WoW going back in time. It's Blizzard trying to find a way to be able to take their old, really bad A villains and bring them back. I like the idea, but I also don't like the idea. Alright, now people might be wondering, why does it care that we got a stone? This is actually a key item that will go into the next crystal, and we'll explain it then. But it's the Rosetta Stone, and there's a reason it's called that. But yeah, I'm not sure what I think of this new expansion. I was actually more impressed with some of the other stuff I saw. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls looked really good. I especially like kind of the premise of the story. But the one that kind of took the cake for me was Heroes of the Storm. And I'm actually not a big MOBA fan. I've thought about here and there getting into either Dota 2 or League of Legends. The thing that kind of bothers me is I get that they're multiplayer games, but some of those heroes look so cool, it would be great to have a campaign with them. And they don't. Alright, so we get another piece of diamond armor to replace our flame shield. I think I lost a little bit of accuracy, but that's fine, because I get raw defense for it. But yeah, if you guys want to let me know what you thought of BlizzCon, I would love to have that discussion with people. But in the meantime, we're exiting, because I don't want to track all the way back to the floor I was on. So we're going to play it safe, and we're going to go back to the Sunken Shrine. I mean, we got to go liberate the water crystal, but we're going to hit the inn first, and just kind of start fresh in the dungeon. This will help a lot. Saves us some time. And we get to go back in full strength and kind of take away all the damage that we had in the battles we were getting. But yeah, people want to let me know what they thought of BlizzCon. I would love to have that discussion, you know, if YouTube lets us have it. Don't get me started on that one. This has been bothering me for quite a while, and yeah, I'm just not going to get into it here. Maybe we'll get into it on Drak and Shadow, because me and Alex have some pretty strong feelings towards YouTube and Google right now. Right now, I'm just making sure that I have all the equipment, that I have the proper map in front of me, so that I can get through the Sunken Shrine as fast as I can. Alright, we're going to ride the barrel again, and we get to see the same cutscene, because it's awesome. I actually do. One of the reasons I picked this over the NES version is these cutscenes are amazing. They really do help tell the story. And it looks like we're going down to the lost city of Atlantis. Nope. We are neither Milo Thatch or Indiana Jones. Sorry. Or John Shepard. All Atlantis references. Okay, so instead of going right this time, we're going to go left. Left has where we need to go to reach the water crystal, and in turn, the water fiend. And truth be told, if I could just be 100% honest with you guys, the fiends in this game, in 9 they get remade, and they look really, really cool. I gotta say, there are really only 2 fiends that I liked. And I'd like to hear you guys' feedback, too, on which ones you did, but, like, for me, it was Lich. I love the concept of Lich. And the other one I can't say just yet, because we haven't come across him yet. I will say this, it's not this fiend. It is the Wind Fiend, and to those who know who I'm talking about, I want people to see it. It's pretty cool. Can we run now? No, of course not. Alright, we gotta play that game. Okay, fine. Let's play that game. Bolt 3. we'll actually get to see what Yang can do now. Nope. And they're dead. Okay, fall down, go boom. Alright, and we're actually going to finish out the Sunken Shrine in the next part, because there's still a few more floors to go. I thank you again for taking part in this Let's Play of Final Fantasy. Once again, I am Drak, and you've been watching a Let's Play of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation 1. Next week, we take on the Water Fiend. See you then.